Tuyet?
Oh, hi, how are you?
You're fine. I'm good actually. Okay. Even though there's a lot of work, so at least I can manage now to have classes. Okay. Okay. So moving ahead to it. So let me share the presentation to you now, just for a moment. Okay, for a while. Okay, I hope you can see the presentation to it. Can you see it?
Yes, I can see.
Yeah, okay, very good. So last time we were able to discuss all about this one, right? So
Yeah.
all about cost marketing. So we all know that marketing has its purpose, has its reason. That's why we call this one as cost
Mhm.
marketing. And three of our examples would be this one, right? The one for one, the campaign for a real beauty, the backstops for education. And when it comes to cost marketing, there would be this particular benefactor, right? Okay, so we are going to continue discussing this one too yet in here. So starting point, these are the things that we should have to understand. There is never enough time in the day. Do you agree with this? When I say there
Uh,
is never enough
yes.
time in the day.
Mm, I think there's once sometime I think that I don't have enough time in the day. Yes,
Especially
because
yeah,
there are lots of work uh, to do. Yes,
yes,
lot
because you
of
are,
tasks
yes,
need to complete. Yes.
yes, and most especially to yet because you are a mother, okay? You're a mother,
Yes.
and at the same time, you are also a worker. Okay? That's why,
Yes.
yeah, that's why it's going to be very hard for the mothers to um manage their time properly, right?
Yes.
And sometimes mothers could say that they don't have enough time, okay, in the day because of a lot
Yes.
of work to do after office. When you go home, you need to, of course, you need to look up after your children,
Mhm.
right? So you need to do a lot of things inside the house. So there would be no time limit for a mother. That's why we can
Yes.
say that there is enough time in a day, right?
Uh,
Yes.
yes, you're
Okay.
correct.
Yes. And then, are these sentences always, sometimes, or never true for you? Okay, number one, I organize my working time well. So, do you agree with this? Is this always, sometimes, or never true for you?
I think that I already organize my working time well because now I'm work from home, so
Ah, you can
I have
organize.
I have a lot of time
Yes,
at
to
home and
organize.
easy to organize time and organize my life to balance between the working and
As a mother,
yes,
as a family, as a wife, right? As a mother,
yes,
as a wife, and as a worker, right? Oh, that would be nice, huh? So you
yes,
can be able to manage them. Okay,
yes.
next one. I have a lot of interruptions at work.
Um, uh, I think before when my children stayed at home
Mm,
because COVID pandemic.
yeah,
So I think sometimes I have a lot of time interrupts.
interruption at your
Yes,
work
because I manage my children and
and
to
work.
observe.
Yes.
So I think it's also affected my work. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
But
So
now,
that
but now
sometimes,
they
yeah,
are yes, but now they are go to school, so
yeah,
it's only me.
yeah. Okay.
I
That's just
stay at home,
only,
so not
yeah,
affect my work. Yes.
yeah. Okay. So now, when I have important work to do, I finish it on time.
Mm, I think uh, um, yes, almost I finished my work on time.
Yeah.
Yes,
Very good.
it
Okay.
really delay because I follow the project. Yeah, I follow customers, so I have to the
Finish.
ensure on time
Yes. That's
finish
correct. That's
is
correct.
on time because
Yes.
without is I got a complaint customer is
Correct.
yeah.
Very, it's very true, right? Because you are
Yes,
handling customer, so if you cannot do the deadline, so the customers will get angry, right? So they might not going to patronize your product anymore because you are not on time when it comes to the delivery, right?
yes,
Yeah.
we have
So yeah,
really
that's good.
yes,
Okay.
so
Now,
the project.
question number three. How do you feel about people who are always late or early?
Uh, from my point of view, I always like who works and do
Early.
early. Yes,
Yes.
I think almost people like that
Yes.
because
And
when
yes.
they complete job early and something like that, and it's little goes early. I think that they focus on job and has good performance about the
Yes.
way to work to complete the job early. I
Yes,
think that
that's correct. And actually, I hate people who are always late.
yeah.
What about you? Do you hate also people who are late? Actually, me as a worker, I rarely went to school late. Okay, in
Yes.
1 year, I just had only one late.
Mm,
Yes, remember that. It is because of sometimes there would be delays because of, let's say, flood, right?
mm,
But I see
okay.
to it that I go to work early and I don't want to be late because that's not my characteristics to go to work late, right? So yeah. Oh,
Okay.
we have the
Yes.
same. We have the same principle in life, right? I don't
Yes.
want I don't want to be late. That's why I hate people who are late.
Yes.
Right? Okay. Now,
Bây giờ in Việt Nam, bây giờ in Việt Nam, they we a lot of people buy time.
on
They
time.
buy time and they will make the sometimes delay.
Oh,
So
really?
usually they not much people
Oh,
on time.
yeah. Actually, we have the
Yes,
same culture.
special who works in the government company.
We have the same situation here in the Philippines.
Yes.
Okay. There are also a lot of employees in here that are lazy.
Yeah.
Yes, so we have the same. Why? Because we are Asians. That means we have the same culture, breed of cultures, right? That's why
Yeah.
it's going to be the same. So whatever would be the characteristics of the people in your country, that would also been experienced here in the Philippines, right?
Okay.
Okay, now moving on to it. So working with words. So how do we manage time? So managing time. Let's try to answers one, two, or questions one, two, three, then discuss your answers. Okay? Question number one. What percentage of workers read email while speaking on the phone? Ah, so we need to answer this. Is it a third, more than half, more than three quarters?
Mm,
On your own point of view, right? So we're not
mm,
we're not saying
mm,
that based on your experience actually.
Actually, I really don't have, I never attention that the
To
idea.
read.
Yes.
To read email while speaking in the phone, right?
Because I think mm,
It's hard. It's
can,
hard to do.
can do the parallel the do two action at the same time.
Yes.
It's
Act,
difficult. I don't know why they can do
they can
that.
do it,
Not only,
right?
not only when we read email and discuss as a people about that. I think maybe the duration, but if the read email,
Wh-
the other
while
content,
calling.
and yes, I think it's quite difficult. That's only the content of the email with the
Yes.
speaking content of the
Yeah, it's different.
yes, it's the same. It can, but the
Yeah.
different cannot.
But remember, there are people like that too yet, right? So there
Oh,
are also people, and we call them as gifted actually, okay? Okay,
mm,
so because they can do, so we can consider them as gifted person. Okay, so when we are talking about gifted person, those who have this particular gift that they can manage because they are multitasker. Okay, that's why we have here the so-called word
mm,
as multitasking because
yes.
these are person who has this particular special gift, right? That they can do the multitasking,
Okay.
right? Like for example, especially those,
Multi action at the same time.
yes. So actually,
It's really good.
yes, there are persons who are really
Yes,
good at that.
yes, that's
But
a
for
gifted person.
me, yeah, for me too, yet I can't do that.
Oh,
Yes, I cannot concentrate. If, let's say, for example, if someone talking to me and I am busy doing something, I cannot concentrate with what I am doing. So, might as well I have to stop and then listen to the person, right?
okay,
But
okay.
there are
So,
person that
okay.
they
So
can do
from
it.
my point of view, I think that is a third.
Yes, right?
Not smart
Uh,
people can do that.
Yeah, but actually there are only special people who can do that one,
Yes,
right? It's because
yes.
it's a gift, okay? It's a
Mm,
gifted person. So
good.
what would be our answer in here? Is it a third, more than half, more than three quarters? So for me, I can say that it's just only a third, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so not all people can do this one. Okay? Now,
For, uh, multitask at the same time. At the same time, I think I can.
yes, maybe we
Can, but
can.
effective. I think
Yes.
the effective is not high. Not
That's correct. So
think
the
that
so-called the
can, but
efficiency,
effective
yes. So
is
the
as
efficiency may
idea.
be out
Yeah,
of 10 maybe. So there are only 3 who can do that. So that's a
yeah,
third, right? So out
yeah,
of 10, there are only 3 persons can do
yes,
this particular multitasking, right?
yes.
So those who are 7 cannot. Okay? Because
Okay.
that's a gift. Next, if you do 2 or more tasks at the same time, do you work more quickly?
No, I don't think the work more quickly. Uh,
Yes, but
yes, because
again,
I have a process multitask at the same time, so I think it's
work.
difficult to find a good way to process is from my point of view.
Yes,
I think that.
because we are talking about quickly, more quickly. That means, can you work 2 or more tasks and at the same time? Actually, you will be tired.
Yeah.
You will get easily tired. Why?
Mm,
Because when 2 people or 3 people can do that one and at the same time, but you can do it only one, so well, what would happen to you? You are not Superman, right? You are not Superman that you can be able to fly, you can be
Yeah.
able to fight, right? So we're not
Yes.
Superman, okay? So my answer also
If
in here is no.
well, if the task has a relationship, maybe we is support
Yes,
support. Maybe is we can quickly, but the different
yes,
task is not
that's
relation.
correct.
So I think it's quite difficult
Yes.
to
Okay.
get the high.
Example of this, right? Like for example, you are cooking and then um you are cooking and then you are also, let's say for example, cooking and then cleaning the house.
Yeah.
Can you do that one and at the same time? No.
Yeah.
Right? So what would happen? So your food, the
It's
one that you cook
the
will
food.
going
Yeah.
to, yes, will going to, maybe it will cost you to burn your food, right? Okay, if you were going to do that one. So it's not possible actually, but again, there are people, there are, we call this one are exceptional gifted person, okay? We can
Yeah.
also call them as exceptional,
Yes.
or we can also call this as a gifted person because they can do it, right, more quickly, but again, not. So what's the worst thing about people who multitask? A, they don't really listen.
I, I think they are the best. the
Yes,
people.
they're the best
No, sorry,
actually.
sorry. I
Huh?
multitask.
Those who are people who are multitasker.
Um. Mm,
The
what
worst thing, huh? The worst thing.
voting. Voting. I think um, it's easy to make mistake.
Mistakes,
Yeah,
yes, okay.
I
Big,
think it's easy to make mistake.
yes. Why? Because they can do the task, but they don't know that that task is going to be wrong, it's going to be mistakes already, right? Because they
Yes.
they can they can do it something like that, so they have
Yeah.
to a lot of things to do. So
Yeah.
they actually, they're not aftering now the so-called, because
Yeah.
in business we have the so-called quality and we have
Mm.
the so-called quantity, right?
Entity.
Okay.
Uh,
Yes. So the multitasker actually, according to the principle of the multitaskers, they do quantity because they can do a lot of things. But
yes.
when it comes to the quality, it's not
Quality.
good,
Yes. Quality.
right? It's not
Yeah.
good. Okay. So the quality of their work, if you were going to compare that one to the person who does that one with um careful work, so it's going to be the quality,
Yes.
and the people will going to satisfy for of the work of those person who uses or the principle of quality rather than quantity. Yes, the
Yes.
the person who can do the task, many tasks, okay, but the quality itself will going to suffer, right? Okay, especially if you are going to apply this one to yet in a factory, right?
Mhm.
So in a factory, you cannot do the actually the so-called quantity that you can
Mm.
be able to do a lot of things without looking at the quality, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because there is the so-called, there
Mm.
was someone who is
Oh,
inspecting. We call that one as the
yes.
quality.
Yeah, when the product when the product something in the company the profession is uh, uh, um, not only people workers, not only one or two
Yes.
step don't do not
Yes,
yeah,
okay. Because
yes,
there was someone who is looking for them, and that is the work of the quality control, right? Quality
yes,
control means they're looking for the quality rather than the quantity, okay?
yes,
Especially if you are working in a plastic factory, let's say they're looking for the best, okay, the best product, okay?
yes,
The best product, because if they were going to market that product, and there are a lot of mistakes, right?
yes,
Okay, so the people will not going to buy that product, right?
yes.
Okay, so that's why it's going to be the quality. Yes, I do believe that there would be a lot of mistakes, right?
Yes.
Okay, next, let's try to read the text and compare your answers from number one. Okay, your answers from number one. So,
Okay.
okay, this one. These are the texts, right?
Okay.
Okay, multitasking. Now let's try to read to it. Let's see if our answers here are correct, right? Okay? Or based on this particular survey, okay? Now multitasking, time saver or time waster. So this is what we call quality versus quantity, right? Okay, time saver, can we save time if we are going to do multitasking, or we are wasting time. So which is which, right? So on the other end of the phone, you hear the sound of fingers on a keyboard. During a Monday morning department meeting, a colleague has their head down, planning their schedule for the week. At home, your husband or wife is answering emails while helping the children with their homework. See? That's very, very true. A typical mother, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So we have all learned
Sorry.
to multitask because we feel we don't have enough time to get everything done. Oh, this is actually the work
Okay.
which is related to the work of the mothers, right? So according to a study by the Families and Work Institute, there are 45% of workers feel they are asked to work on too many tasks at once. So another survey by ComPsych, a provider of employee assistance programs, reports that 54% of workers spend time reading email while on the phone, and 11% make to-do lists during meetings. Wow, amazing, right? Look at this one, 54%, huh? Okay, so almost half. So we'll all have to meet deadlines. But is multitasking really the solution for finishing everything on time? The answer is not really. If you believe the scientists, we think we save time by doing two tasks at once. But study shows that the brain is less efficient when performing similar tasks such as reading and listening. And each time we switch to another task, what would happen? We have to allow time for our brains to adapt the new situation. So that is what we meant by we cannot actually adapt a certain thing which is different, right? it's it's
Yes.
it's it's not easy to switch to another task. Let's say you are reading and you are let's say for example reading and listening, right? So you
Yes.
it's there is a connection. That's why you are right just a while ago, right? So if the
Yes.
task is connected to each other, it's easy for you
Yes.
to multitask. But if you will going to switch to another task, so the brain is to process that situation, and
Yes.
you cannot get over, right? Oh, I'm reading and listening, and after that one I have to to sweep the floor. So it's going to be a different situation. So our brains, right? So there is allowing our brain to adapt to the new situation. So perhaps the worst thing about people who multitask is the feeling they are only giving you half an ear. That means not the whole ears, but
yeah,
it's just only the other half, right? Okay. So next time you ask a caller to repeat something because you are reading your emails and not listening to him or her. See? So
yeah.
just remember one thing, you're wasting
Right.
time, both yours and the
And color.
callers. Remember that. So that means multitasking is not effective. Okay? Because we are not saving the time, but
Saving
we
it.
are just
Yes.
wasting
Good
the
job.
time. Especially if the task is not related with each other.
Yes.
Right? So you're right, right? You are right to yet. Okay? Yes. Okay, moving on. Now, do you multitask like any of the people described in the text? Do you
Mm,
also multitask to yet?
mm,
Just like in the
I
text?
think I think the multitask.
Yes,
Yes,
because you're a mother.
that's quite popular for the people, many
Yes.
person people because we also have got the key and work we have to process multitasking.
Yes.
We cannot
Yes.
avoid it. We cannot avoid it. We have to fight and we try to pro. After that, we
Uh,
the how to resolve to find a way to resolve the
that's
work task.
That's correct. Okay, why? Because as a mother, you can do a lot of things. Like for example, you can do washing and at the same time cooking and at the same time going to the needs of your children. Okay, so you can do that. You can also do the ironing of the clothes or the uniform of your children at the same time, right? So
Yes.
mothers are superwoman. Okay, we can consider mothers as a superwoman because they can do a lot of things. Unlike with us men, because we cannot do that one and at the same time, right? So you are as a mother, you are very wonderful, right? You are very, very, what is one? You like a superwoman, okay? Just like Superman. If there is Superman, there is also Superwoman.
Yeah.
And that's mothers, right? Okay.
Yes.
Now choose the correct answer from the words in the italics using the words and phrases in bold in the next two to help you. Like, for example, if you spend time doing something, you don't
If
use your
if
time
you
well.
waste if you waste time doing something, you don't use your time well.
Yes, because you waste, right? So that
Yes.
means you don't use your time well because you are just wasting your time, right?
Yes. Uh,
Okay.
okay.
Next, number two.
Um, um, if you have planned,
Yes. Okay. So
your
if you
schedule, yes,
plan, okay,
plan
that's
your
the correct
schedule.
one. So if you
Yeah.
plan your schedule,
You
you'll know what
know
work you
what
have to do.
you have to
Okay.
do.
Number three,
Yes. When preparing a presentation,
you should.
you save the time to practice sound.
Correct. So you can save the time to practice it. And the number four,
The,
If there's
uh,
on or enough time to do everything, you'll meet your deadlines or tasks.
mm, uh, there enough time to do everything.
Yes.
You the meet the deadline.
That's correct. Good. Okay. And this is what we called, of course, not just only a superwoman, but it's a multitasking, right? Okay. To yet. So I guess it's about time for us to say goodbye now at this point in time. Okay.
Okay.
So if you are available tomorrow, so we can see tomorrow to yet, right?
Yes. See you
Right.
tomorrow.
Okay, so thank you so much for your time,
Okay.
Tuyet. We'll see you again. Bye. Okay,
Okay. Bye bye.
bye-bye.